Wake up at Holiday Inn Express to a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. Count on all the hot, fresh coffee you need and an incredible breakfast buffet that has something for everyone, like eggs, cinnamon rolls, and even hot, fresh pancakes with all the toppings you crave. Next time, do yourself a favor and stay at a Holiday Inn Express with a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. So, when you wake up at Holiday Inn Express, you'll wake up happy. A part of IHG Hotels and Resorts.
My name is Terry Lynch. I'm with Oregon Ufology. I found myself searching for a passageway one day. And that passageway leads right across the complete section of the Cascades, which I'm sitting in front of at the moment. On top of one peak. I want to make sure that everybody sees the type of things that we find in the process of research for ufology. I have located a couple that's sitting here on the top of Blind Peak. She's facing south. He's facing north.
The Middle, Cascadia Guides, alleged production, in conjunction with Alien Strand Films.
At the foot of the ladder, the lamp footbeds are only depressed in the surface about 1 or 2 inches. Although the surface appears to be very, very fine grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder down there. It's very fine. Step off the lamp. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Heard it all, everything. Oh, they must have been on LSD, and people have said, I don't believe a word you say, you're nuts, you're crazy, belong in a straitjacket. And I say, well, part of my life, I can't deny it. And one of the things that's really weird is that you find yourself getting used to the idea that you've been abducted, and that's weird in itself.
Hi, this is ASDP ufologist Jody Brown from Arizona, and you are watching Alien Strand Podcast with host Donald Ledesma.
AlienStrand.com, the official website.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. So it's going to be a really, really good show today. I hope you guys stick around for all of this. We have my guest, Mr. Travis, is going to be coming on here shortly. But, you know, like me, I like to talk at the very beginning, get y'all kind of pulled in and see what's going on. Thank you guys for watching here on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all right? So we get some more stuff on there for you. Get us on X, Facebook. We're on like 8 groups right now. So we're live on eight groups right now. So thank you guys for watching tonight and hear me ramble a little earlier, probably about an hour and a half ago. I was talking about this show and what's about to happen today. So we're going to be talking about ufology a little bit, and we're going to be talking about supernatural as well. Okay, so don't forget to catch us on our Patreon. Yeah, Patreon. Catch us on Patreon. Don't forget, it's free. Okay, there's just a free. Plus, there's a $5 a month one there. If you want to join that, go ahead. That'll help out the cause around here to help us keep going and, you know, just kind of paying for our websites and stuff. So things get kind of pricey after a while, but it's okay, man. We're out here to give you the information as much as we can. All right. Don't forget, tonight, this is what's happening. This is tonight's podcast. All right. Strange encounters and sightings. All right. And, you know, we're going to talk a lot about the area he lives, things that he saw. You remember, a lot of folks, there's folks out there like our last one in Alaska. He didn't get to get very many photos, or didn't get photos at all, you know, but because things happened in his past. So this is another gentleman that's going to talk about his past as well, you know, and I'm going to use a lot of reference photos tonight and things like that. So that way you guys can watch, you know, what he was going through and what the things that he was experiencing. So stick around. It's going to be a good show tonight. Everybody's watching, man, from Alien Strand Disclosure Project. Don't forget to catch the middle on Amazon Prime. It's still there for $2.99. All right, you can't beat that with a stick. That's like a bag of chips and a Coke, man. Come on, get that movie, check it out, put it on your favorites, even buy it. I think it's like $11, and that's yours forever. All right, so if you like it, it's a great educational video. I hope you guys enjoy that documentary. Oh man, you know, it's $2.99. We're on TCL channel, we're on Tubi TV, we're on Amazon, we're all over, man. I'm telling you, we're in 7 countries now. So it's moving up all over the place. So, and it's because of you guys. Thank you for watching it. You know, this is what it's about. So the middle part 2, CE3, is what I've been working on. And man, it gives me goosebumps, man. I'm telling you, every time when I start watching, and I'm going to see it about at least 500 times before you guys do, because I'm doing all the editing in there. So, but it's just because it's coming out so good, and it's going to be something for you guys to see. And I hope you guys enjoy this when it does come out here, and the later part of this year, it will be out. Okay, so don't forget, check that out. You know, and everybody's an awesome, you know, guest on that came out on there. And we have so much information on that new movie. You're going to love it. You guys are just going to love it, you know. And if you do love it, you're going to like Alien Strand Disclosure Project. Don't forget, follow us there. Follow Mr. Terry Lynch out there, myself. You know, we are all out there, you know, giving out all the information as much as we can. Hey, hello, how y'all doing out there? If you can, post your comments on here. I'll throw them up on the screen. Remember, everything this tonight will be pre-recorded again for tomorrow's audio podcast. So y'all guys are actually listening to it live. Okay, don't forget, tell your friends out there, Alien Strand Disclosure Project, alienstrand.com. Find us there. You know, you can find us everywhere. You know, if you need to report a UFO, right? There's our ticker, ASDP-UFO.com. Go check us out there, you know, or alienstrand.com. That's our sister page. That's a lot of great information. Don't forget, we do have a hotline as well. You know, you can, not that one. Oops. Catch our Alien Strand hotline, 361-245-8000. Find us there. If you guys need to get in touch with me as well, you know, and talk to me about anything that's happened to you, man, I tell you what. Since this eclipse, Terry predicted it, man. He predicted this whole thing. He said, I bet you when this solar eclipse happens, you know, we're going to be seeing a lot of UFO footage. I am starting to see it already come through my feeds as far as the different things that are happening out there up in the sky. So, you know, and thank you people for posting that stuff out there, because it's super important to show the world exactly what's happening at the same time when this eclipse is going. You know, I was going through my things a little bit, right? And I don't know if you saw Alien Strand promo with the number 2 that I did this like 4 years ago, my very first videos. So you see Jacob, my son, right? And he was little at the time, and he was drawing something on the floor when I'm spinning the camera around. Well, check this out, man. He drew this, and that was actually on our promo, and I found it, and he kept it for me. Man, he did a great job on this, man. And he was only like 8 years old when he did that. You know, he's a great, you know, I love him. He's so much a great part of Alien Strand, and he was out there with me. He was actually doing camera B and helping me with the drone when we were actually shooting the middle part too, CE3. You know, he did a great job on the camera work out there. You know, he's going places, man. He's going places. He's in ROTC too. I think he's gonna be a military kid. I think so. So anyway, without further ado, I want to get this gentleman in on now, so that way you guys can kind of hear his story and see what's going on with him and things that had happened with him in the past. All right. So here we go. Let's bring in Mr. Travis. All right. Here we go.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? Yes, sir. How's it going, brother?
Yeah, good, man. Good. Going great.
Good. Yeah. Nice to see you too, man. I know you've been a strong follower of the page and of the podcast for about a year now. You told me over the phone when we talked last week, and thank you, and thank you for enjoying everything and all the content that we put out there. You know, but you know, getting back to you, you know, I know you told me some crazy stories, man, and they're not crazy because these are things that actually happened to you. So can we start from the very beginning where all this started? What state were you at? You know, the things at the very beginning when you started seeing these strange things happen to you.
Yeah. Yep. Just checking again. You can hear me okay, correct?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. You know, I lived in South Florida. I've been like way South Florida, you know, around Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I've lived down here pretty much my whole life. Lived out of state for 4 years in North Carolina.
Okay.
But we moved back. So, but I would say the first time that I ever caught a glimpse of something that was just, you know, scratching my head. I remember my mom I was in about fifth grade. It was either fourth or fifth grade, and we were going to a friend's house. She had to stop by and pick something up.
Right.
And I was friends with the kids that lived there too, but she was like, "No way, you're staying in the car, because if you come in, we'll be here forever."
Yeah.
So, you know, I was kind of bummed out, but I remember sitting in the car. You know, I'm a kid. I'm just, you know, sitting there daydreaming. It was, I would say, probably around 4 o'clock, 5 p.m., kind of, you know, where the sun is going down.
Right.
But, and I'm sitting in the car, and I'm looking kind of to my right, and they live over, like right on this lake, pretty big lake. And, I remember that it was kind of like a V line, but it was, you know, through the trees. I could see it's like a, you know, tree right and left, but there was a huge V, and all you could see was the sky.
Right.
And, you know, I'm just sitting there daydreaming, and then I see, probably about maybe 100, 150 yards away, I see this, like a silver object. Not going super fast, but going fast enough to where I could still see it and kind of get an idea of it. And, you know, I caught it going through, you know, the trees, and, you know, it just disappeared. And I remember, I was like, man, what the heck was that? You know, it you know, wasn't a bird, a plane, a helicopter. It was nothing like that. You know, nothing.
Right. Right. Was anybody with you at the time? Did they see this the same thing, or did you point it out?
No. I was just sitting in the car. Like I said, you know, my mom told me to wait in the car, and, you know, you know, a single mom. So I would, you know, like I said, I don't even remember if I told her about it, you know. But I would say it looked like not quite a circle. It almost looked like that was the color of it too. It was like a dark, like a nickel plated, like a silverish color.
Right.
It looked like a garbage can flying through the air.
Right.
That's what it looked like.
Wow.
You know, it had a squarish, kind of rounded a little bit. and taller from the bottom to the top to the bottom, and not as wide. And like I said, I just saw it flying through the air. It was brief and quick, and I saw it long enough. Like I said, I was, what the heck? I had no idea. I didn't know what it was.
What Terry's asking, how far away from Gulf Breeze, Florida, were you at the time?
Or where exactly is Gulf Breeze in Florida? Do you? I was going to look that up and I forgot.
Oh, I don't know. I can check for you, but yeah, no, just keep going. And so after that, what else happened?
Yeah. And remember, I brought that up to you. This was like 85, 86, 87. That I remember seeing later a lot of time at that time, a lot of stuff was happening in Gulf Breeze at that time.
I remember you said that. Said that.
I'm not exactly sure how far I am away from there, but like I said, this was same area, Miami, Fort Lauderdale area was where I was.
So actually Gulf Breeze, Florida is probably, man, it's like right when you're getting to the bottom of the, I don't know if you could see my phone, but I don't know, probably not. No. It's like right, you're way south. So it's almost like west from you, like coming into from, when you're coming in on that I-10. When you come in on I-10 from Mobile, Alabama, the next one's going to be Gulf Breeze. So it's like literally right there. So that's where all that other activity was happening.
Yeah, that's the Gulf of Mexico. I'm on the Atlantic. So, but still, I didn't know about it at the time. There was no internet. And they're not putting that stuff on the news then. I was a kid. Right. I was into Star Wars and playing ball and all that.
Right.
So
did you when that stuff happened to you, were you feeling like it was how long did that visual last for, in other words, when you sat there and watched it? I
would say about 3 to 5 seconds.
Okay,
it was enough. Go lay down. It was enough to it was quick and brief, but it like I said, the tree, there was no clouds. And I was able, I saw it perfect. And, I didn't know, they say, pieces of meteor or whatever fall all the time onto the planet. But
right.
there was no trail behind it. There was nothing like that.
Wow.
It was just an object flying through the sky. And it was really low. I would say that's another thing, too. I would say it was probably anywhere from 40 to 60 yards above that lake, because that's where I saw it. It was over the lake.
Wow.
So it wasn't that high off the ground.
So then after that, how many did you spot another craft after that later in the years, or what happened?
Well, that was the first time. Now the second time, I was with my buddy Tim, and now this is, like I said, this is like my Class A. Like this little saucer you got flying here on the screen, the green one.
Yeah.
Like that's what I saw.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't see. Yeah, that's what I saw. It wasn't green though. It was like a dark silver, like that nickel color. And,
right.
I would say, oh man, and it was directly above us. I would say if I had to guess, I don't know, maybe about 2,000 feet, maybe something, a quarter of a mile, half a mile. Like I said, and it was directly above us, and
Wow.
I told you the story, like that picture right there with that saucer on the left.
On the left.
Only there wasn't a circle like that of light in the middle on the bottom.
Right.
But what I do remember, I told you we had went to the girl's house, and she's like, hey, if our parents come home, sneak out the back and go around the front, we'll meet you. And
right.
Like I said, we went out back, and I don't know what her dad did, but there had to be about 1,000 golf balls in the yard. So I grabbed like 4 or 5, and we went around front. And I told you I played football, baseball growing up. I had a really good arm,
Right.
Pitched all the way up through college. But so I'm taking these golf balls and I'm throwing them in the air, as high as I can. And they're going, they're bouncing the street. And, we're blocking our heads. And I go to throw this golf ball. And there was like a real little circular cloud, but it was really thick. And I almost think this UFO was using it for cover, but I think the wind kind of blew it.
Oh, wow.
And yep. And I was like, Tim, look. And, he looks up and it's like, what the hell? And so we see this thing and it's like 3, 4, 5, 6. It was almost like it knew. Me and my buddy Tim, we both had that feeling like it knew that we saw it. And
wow.
As soon as that happened, it kind of cocked back a little bit and just poof, just took it.
Shot out.
It went the same way as that cloud. We would have seen it come out. It was just today. I'm 50 years old. It's still the fastest thing that I've ever seen in my life. If I had to guesstimate speeds into the thousands of miles per hour, easily. Wow. And what I remember, like I said, it was directly above us. I remember like a bluish, greenish, like lights, like going around, like really, but more blue, but it was like spinning around the sides of it. We couldn't see the sides, but you could see the light, like
just spinning.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
But there was, could you see any seams or rivets or anything like that on the bottom of this craft?
No. We could see it perfectly, but it was too high up to notice any kind of detail like that. Excuse me.
Wow.
Yeah. I said, we didn't wait for the girls. We hopped on our bikes and we took off, man. We were terrified. We didn't even wait. We just got on our bikes and hauled ass and went to his house.
Well, and you never know. If this thing saw you guys, and if you had the feeling that it saw you, it could have abducted you guys. You could have been pretty close to that. Because it only takes a second. It only takes a second for the beam of light to hit you and you're up and you're gone, especially as kids. So you said, how old were you at this time when you saw it the second time?
We were in the same grade. We were in middle school.
Okay.
I can't remember if it was 7th or 8th grade, but it was around that time, right. Around 14, 15 years old.
Right. Wow. So, and then, did you kind of keep that to yourselves or told a couple of people, or just kind of everybody kind of blew it off, laughed and blew it off like always? How it always happens as a kid.
Yeah. If you've known me my whole life, I've always told that story the same exact way. I've never changed it. My buddy Tim lives in California now, but every time we see each other, we always bring up that story, always. But I'm not the kind of person like, if I got something on my mind, I'll tell you. I've told that story. Excuse me. I'm just getting over a cold, but I've told that story a million times, and always the same way.
That's how people know you're not lying. You know what I mean? Because if you tell it exactly the same way, your friend says it exactly the same way as you did. There's just no ins, ends, or buts about it. You saw something that you can't explain what you saw, and that our military or anything like that back then, in maybe the 90s or whatever it was by then, that didn't make anything like that. So I'm sure that.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void were prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Freaked the hell out of both of you guys, because even today you still talk about it, right?
Oh yeah, yep. Always bring it up. You know, I've told my kids. I think you kind of know, and you can catch a read on someone when they're BSing you or
right,
or telling you something. And you know, I always tell that story passionately, and just, you know, some people aren't lucky enough to see them. You know, I don't know if you need to be chosen or what, but I think if you're open-minded enough, you can see anything.
That's a great point. That's a very great point. And I talk about that a lot too. You know, like, you know, be open-minded. Always be open-minded. Don't judge it right away. You know, things will come. You know, some folks are more like an antenna, you know, to these things. You know, and it can be at y'all's age, it was probably a scary experience. But even as an adult, there's people out there that, you know, it still kind of scares the hell out of you when you think about it, because not every experience is going to be pleasant, right? So I always mention that you know, the extraterrestrial and the paranormal world kind of live in sync together, right? There are the kind of things happen like that. Every time you run into some kind of UFO, or you see a craft or anything like that, you start getting a lot of paranormal things start happening to you. So let's talk a little bit about that. You explained how you were having some kind of paranormal episodes later in life. So let us, you know, tell us about that.
Yeah. When we've had a few things happen here, but I've lived in this house. I got remarried, but we've lived in this house, I guess about going on 6, almost 7 years now. Mm-hmm. And, like, I've never had sleep paralysis ever in my life until I've lived in this house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever had sleep paralysis.
I have. It's horrible.
It's terrifying.
It is.
I've never, I would say I've probably had it 6, 7 times around there, but I also feel a presence in this house also. It doesn't come off as like an evil kind, I guess, malevolent, or I think malevolent. It doesn't feel evil or anything. And I've also felt it's always by our feet when we're sleeping. And I'd say 5 or 6 times I've felt a tug on the covers, always by my feet. And like, I'll immediately look at my wife to see if she's kind of adjusting herself in bed or moving her feet or something. And she's always completely still. She sleeps like a rock, but
wow.
But I'll feel this presence, and quite often, actually. It's like you feel it. It's like you know something's there. You just can't see it.
And you talked about, we talked about this earlier before the show started, that you said sometimes it feels like when you walk through a cobweb or there's a cobweb there, you get that when you wipe it off your face and you don't get nothing there. You said you were actually experiencing that a lot. Yeah,
that's when I lived in North Carolina. We lived there for 4 years. That was my wife then, was since divorced, but I told you that my dog, I was at work one day, my wife was home alone. The kids were in school. They were young at the time. And my dog, who never barks unless somebody's knocking at the door, but he was in my son's room barking at the closet door, which was closed. And my wife said she's like Basil, like, what are you what's wrong with you? What are you barking at? So she goes in the room and goes to open the door, and she hears a growl. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, she took off, flew out. So that was upstairs. She went downstairs, and she actually went outside and called me and got out of the house. Excuse me, sorry.
It's okay.
And,
yeah, I mean, we all notice that a lot of the times our pets have this sensitivity, sensory, to ghosts or spirits or supernatural, anything like that. I put this graph up there to show you that the spectrum that a dog sees and the spectrum of a human sees, right? So you see how theirs is a little bit different. It's almost like a black and white, but they can see in a blue, right? So, and I figure if they're seeing more yellows and greens, kind of like an olive color, if they're seeing more of that, that means their spectrum is better to seeing at night or seeing something that we can't see with our eyes because we're so used to dark, more contrasty stuff, right? So their spectrum is a little bit above. They only have some edges of darkness where they can see through, right? As a regular daylight, sensory of an animal. But we always notice the dogs, will look, they'll cry, or a cat will do that, or a hiss, when there's a supernatural entity present. And you say yours was barking and growled. And then after he heard the growl, he took off, right? He's like a bat out of hell.
Yep. And my wife heard it. She heard a growl. She took off. But also that in that house, I told you when the job I was working, I would have to get up at like 4:00 in the morning. And every time I would wake up in the morning, I'm walking around, you're still dark, I'm not try not to wake my wife up and get ready to go and leave. But I would always feel like I'm walking into a cobweb, and I'm always like, you rub your face like, what the hell? Like, why is always?
Wow.
And then I remember another time at that house. So that job, I would go in around 4:30, and I would get home 8:30, 9 in the morning. And, my wife was gone for work. The kids were at school. And I would either try to take a little nap, maybe half an hour or something before I would have to go to my other job.
Right.
And I remember one morning I was laying in bed, and I couldn't fall asleep, but I was just laying there relaxing. I had the covers, just blocking out the sun, the covers, pillow over my head. And we had a cat also at the time. And I was laying on the bed, and I'm sure you've been on the bed before. When a cat jumps on the bed, you'll feel it. And I'm laying on the bed, and I feel the pressure of the jump, and I like the depression onto the covers. We had a big comforter, and her name was Pepper, and I was like, all right, now I know she's on the bed. I just felt her jump up here.
Right.
And I'm like, let me just look. And I look, and there's nothing there.
Oh, hell.
Yeah. I was like, looking around, and she wasn't even in the room because I had got up and walked down. She was actually downstairs.
Wow.
And, but also in this house, like my biggest paranormal thing that has ever happened to me. I remember it was a Sunday, and I woke up. It was around 1:30 in the morning. And what I felt, what woke me up was I had a male figure, a skinny male dark figure standing at the front of my bed.
What?
Yeah. Oh. And, when you get up and you wake up, like you takes a second, you sit up. But I sat right up. I popped right up. And my eyes are kind of adjusting, to the darkness. And,
right.
I'm looking around the room, And I don't see anything. And then, like, all of a sudden, I feel this. I have this overwhelming feeling of just calmness and ease come over me and say, it's okay, just go back to bed.
Oh, wow.
So, like I said, this was Sunday night around 1:30 in the morning. And I go to work the next morning, and my wife calls me at 10:30. I never forget, it was 10:30 on the dot. And she was just like, she was bawling, crying. And she was like, Trav, she's like, Rob was, my friend Rob, he was one of my best friends. She was like, Rob was killed last night around 1:30 in the morning. The same time that I was woken up by a skinny male figure standing at the front of my bed, and he was skinny and he was black.
Oh, wow.
You know? And I truly, honestly, I don't think I know in my heart that he was coming to say goodbye to me.
Wow.
Or see me one last time.
Yeah, and he was communicating with you, you know. I mean, if you feel that it was your friend, you know, these things happened at exactly that same time when this thing happened to you. I mean, that's just, I don't want to say eerie, because you didn't have the eerie feeling. You had the calming, you know, that everything was going to be okay. This entity, this spirit that was there was actually telling you, hey, it's you're good, you know, and it didn't scare you, right? So, but then hearing the news of your passing of your friend, I'm sure that a lot of things were probably going through your mind, you know, of what actually did happen to me, you know, when at the same time. Was this him? Or, I mean, how long did it take for you to kind of put two and two together on that, you know, just try to figure that out?
Yeah. That happened, like I said, Sunday, and it's going into Monday. And it was crazy because I had all these signs. I was a delivery driver up there at the time. I was driving for FedEx, and it's so crazy, but the way I just feel like he was communicating to me. I never forget, I was on the interstate. I saw a hearse drive by me on the interstate. It was the name of the company was his last name, and Sons was the name of the company.
Oh, wow.
I delivered a package to a residence. It was his name. It was the same name, same spelling, everything. This is in North Carolina. He was killed in South Florida.
Oh, wow.
And we had all these, just all these signs. And,
well, we have Donna, my sister, actually, she loves watching the show. She says, I have experienced something like that in a doorway. She goes, a young man with a cap on. He was skinny and he had a rifle. She goes, I screamed at the time I was married and woke up my husband. She goes, it turned out to be one of his cousins who had committed suicide. So, you know, she actually experienced something almost similar to what you did, but her, you know, of course, it's a tragic story, both really in reality, you know, but it's kind of strange how, you know, spiritual beings, you know, are when we pass, you know, we're able to say goodbye for the last time, or even just to, you know, say, hey, you know, I'm good. You know what I mean? It's a sense, it's you're sad because of the loss, but at the same time, you know that it's not, you know, it's not a bad thing when you cross over. You know, you're able to still communicate. Now, before we're going to take a real quick commercial break, okay, and then when we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about that, and you know, and let's find out, you know, what everybody has to say about a lot of these things, and we'll get back to you in just a second. All right, brother, give me a second. Here we go.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Is my production company. If you guys need me, just click on the number below. Just call me 361-774-8475, and I'll help you guys out. Now, let's get back to this. So, Travis, I got a little surprise for you, brother. So, let's bring it up.
Oh, Travis.
Hey, Terry, what's going on, bud? Nice to meet you.
I heard you was good to be on, and that you wanted to say hello. So, hello.
Yeah, man. How you doing, man? Good to see you. I was telling Donald, I love seeing you guys chatting it up all the time. Very enjoyable.
Right on.
You got a great story going tonight, man. I'm telling you that. I've been paying attention real close to you, and that whole area that you're in is a definite hot spot.
Yeah, we
also to the equator.
oh yeah, and also we have there's a nuclear power plant in South Miami too, Turkey Point. Also down here, so I'm sure that has something to do with it too.
Yeah, Shannon always talks about that. She always talks about the nuclear power plants and how there's, where anything that's nuclear around there, that you see a lot of sightings around there. It's kind of strange though, man. The how close these crafts have been to you, Travis. Have you gotten any kind of like effects from it or any kind of burns? Do you ever wake up with any kind of burns or anything like that?
No, not that I can ever think or remember. But the other story that I had told you that happened with she's my ex-wife now, but we were dating at the time. Remember I told you about that white, like a giant light bulb flying down the street. Remember telling you about it?
Right.
That's the closest that of any craft or anything. That's the closest that anything has ever gotten to me. But I'll tell the story. And I remember I had to look it up because we had just went to the movies to watch The Lion King. So this would have been 94. And I remember she was still living with her parents and going to school at the time and stuff like that. So we just got to her parents' house. And the first experience I had, that lake, there's two lakes. One is South Lake and one is the North Lake. Her parents lived about, I'd say, 2-3 houses away from this other lake. You can hear me okay still, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we went, just parked, and we were walking up, and I forgot something into the car. So, she walked back to the car with me, and her parents lived, I'd say they lived 2 houses towards the end of the block, and then the other way was the long way. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, we just were looking in that direction. I don't know. But we see it looked like a giant light bulb, but it was I would say it was about the size of, if you took like, I'd say about 3 basketballs and joined them together to make one big ball.
Oh, wow.
And it was flying down the street, and it was going like woo, 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 back, but it was about 6 feet off the ground. And I mean, this thing was moving. Like, we saw it come down the end of the block, and it was by us. And I never forget when it hit the corner and made this huge wide turn, just because of the speed that it was going. And when that happened, I was probably standing about anywhere from 8 to 10 feet from it when it went by us.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't making it. You could hear like a humming, but you couldn't hear anything else. But like I said, it was like and it was about 6, like anywhere from 6 to 7 feet off of the ground, going right down the middle of the block. And, I've talked with Andrea, my ex, a million times about this. We think that it was going to that body of water and going to go in and go into the lake.
Into the water. Oh, wow.
Yeah. We didn't see that happen, but that's what we were thinking.
Terry, you got a question for him on that?
Yeah, I do. That humming, was it kind of a low tone?
Yep. Just got you could barely hear it, but you could hear it, just like a hum. Yep. There's no propulsion, no nothing. It just it looked like a giant light bulb just flying down the street. And like I said, it was moving. It was probably going about 100 miles an hour, because when we saw it and it was by us, and like literally, I remember I looked at my wife, we were like, what the F was that? I'm like, you saw that? She's like, what was that? I'm like, so, it was pretty wild.
Wow. Could imagine that. At first we kind of think of orbs and stuff. That's why I posted the picture of the orbs and things like that. So a lot of people do catch orbs, but those are usually like on camera, like you see on the right there in a cemetery. You can see there's a orange orb at the very center piece of that. And I know those kind of orbs are totally different from what you saw. I think what you saw is a possible craft going by, since you said it was going into the lake. What lake was that was going into?
Down here, it's the area is called the Lakes, but this was the North Lake, and the first time I ever saw something was on the South Lake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're not huge lakes, but they're big enough.
Are they man-made, or are they just kind of natural?
I believe they are. I believe they are man-made. Yep.
Wow.
Because they're almost identical.
Wow. So, you heard the hum as it went by. Did you feel any kind of pressure, any kind of electrical charge, anything, your hair rise up on your arms, anything like that?
No. That was, 30 years ago almost, but,
wow.
And even if I did, I don't remember, I just remember looking at my girlfriend like, what the F was that?
Yeah.
It was wild, man. It was crazy. It was pretty weird.
Wow. Terry, you got any questions for him?
Yeah. That's it. I put out a hypothesis called the D1 Sharp hypothesis, and you'll find that on our group ASDP, and it explains the tone that you said that you'd heard. And it's an this is their ancient way of communicating with the ancient people. So I implore you to go look that up if you are part of ASDP, and I implore everybody to go look that up. Man, you've got a great story going here. Please continue.
Yeah.
So, after that, this was another encounter that you had, right? Of something strange that you don't know exactly what happened. Now, did the girl you were with, or did she does she still talk about that, or you don't know if she remembers, or?
Oh, she absolutely remembers. Yeah, it was my high school sweetheart, and we got married, and we were together for 25 years.
Wow.
We have kids together, stuff, so it's not something we talk about anymore. But we've talked about plenty of times, and she remembers. She definitely remembers.
Wow.
For sure.
Does she have any? I mean, do you know, after witnessing that, has she seen anything else, like anything like that ever again? Do you know?
When we lived in North Carolina, this was around Christmas time, but we had taken a bunch of photos, and we had a bunch of orbs in these photos. But other than that, nothing like, out in the sky or down the street or anything flying around, nothing like that. I'm sure she would have told me, but I don't think so.
Do you think that maybe you're being followed, or these things are attracted to you in some sort of way? Because it seems to you've had several experiences over the years, and it's almost like they're following you of some sort. Do you think that that's possibly happening to you?
Well, like I said, I'm very, very, very open-minded. I believe in Bigfoot. There's people that haven't seen UFOs that it's like believing in Jesus Christ. You have to believe in Jesus Christ off of blind faith. Nobody was here to see him. You know what I mean?
Right,
you have to have faith that happened and that exists. I'm very open-minded. And I've seen so many podcasts and videos that, sometimes maybe people are chosen. I don't know, possibly could be, and like I said, I still have 3-4 more encounters to tell you guys.
Wow.
Where other people were with me.
Wow. Tell us one. Let's see what you got. What's the next one?
Yep. I went to my buddy Joe's house, and he lives out west, very, very close to the Everglades. And I remember I had won some money in a fantasy football league, so I had stopped by. He's like, come by, pick up the money and whatever. So this is like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and where he lives, you can see, we have a major airport here, but you can see the planes coming in when they, on their descent to go from west to east to land. But
right.
We're talking, and he has his back to it, and I I'm looking, and I see like this. It wasn't any kind of. It looked like just a flame, like a fire flame flying, and it kept changing colors, like yellowish, reddish, or like a fire.
Wow.
Almost like a phoenix
Fireball.
or something. And but it, but it, if it was like a fireball or a meteorite coming, it would be going way faster. This was going like really slow. And I'm like, Joe, what is that? And he turns around and he's like, kind of speechless, and he was like, well, I don't know. And we're watching it, and it's going slow and slow, and it's kind of like it was kind of like, like a elongated, how they talk about the tic tac, like the shape of that,
right.
But you couldn't define the shape, but it just kept changing these colors, orangish, red, yellow, dark orange, red, but it, just kept going. I'm like, man, that's a UFO. And he's like, I don't know what that is. So it's going from east to west, and now it starts to turn and make its way south, and it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it just vanishes.
Wow.
Just completely vanishes in the sky and disappears.
Wow. Well, I'm using this photo right now as a reference. It's not the actual thing, but you said it was like a Tic Tac. So this is the one that they shot down in Alaska, and we can clearly see it's not a balloon, right? So, And I mean, what are these things, right? But this is what Terry Lynch has experienced this several times over there in Oregon, kind of like what you saw, right, Terry?
Oh yeah. I've seen
like a flame.
Well, yeah, I've seen the orange. It's an orange sphere.
Yeah,
I had one point where me and my counterpart up here, Jonathan Mitchell, we watched 5 of them come right out of the side of a mountain face, and they just boom, and that's when I realized that we're standing next to a giant hive. And it was the next day where I had put it was my P500, and I zoomed in on it onto the location we've seen these come out from, and it was probably about 36 more of them came out extremely fast.
Wow!
But they were at this point they were kind of a teal green. Like you see how my name lit up.
Yeah.
Your name, it was that color, and they were coming out, and I didn't actually see those with the naked eye. I had sent my my video off to out to Australia to Chris Hamill, and he slowed everything down. He showed me all the stuff that was coming out of the side of this mountain, and then immediately, of course, I said, "Hey, Donald, you got to see what this is."
Wow.
We actually filmed a segment out at this location, and we called it the Hive.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you were Travis. You were talking to me earlier about using that you actually had another experience with monoculars with night vision goggles.
Yeah.
Tell us that story there.
I had some friends of mine that were. And this was a last minute thing. They were going out to the Everglades, and we always talk of this stuff. And they're like, "Hey, do you want to go with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I had never been out there with them. They'd been a few times, and they're very expensive, so they had rented a pair, and we had the laser pointers and stuff like that. And we're in the Everglades. There's a main. It's kind of like an old Florida road, but it's called US 27. So we took 27 up, and there's a place where you can break off and you can go park, and load your boats and do whatever your airboats, whatever it is you're doing out there. And we were out there for about 3-4 hours. And man, when I tell you what, we saw, we couldn't see anything with the naked eye. And then they're like, here, and I'm pointing at it, look. And then, there's this stuff shooting all over the sky, 2-3 at a time, back and forth. I'd say all in total, we kept count. It was anywhere from like 18 to 20 different, crafts, just back and forth. And you could see them only with the night vision. You couldn't see them with your regular eye.
Right.
Only with the night vision. It was unbelievable. I had never experienced anything like that.
Wow. We have a friend of ours, Anibal Caballero. He's out of Colorado, and he gave actually Terry Lynch one of these monoculars. You can see him right there. He loves that thing, man. I can't wait to see some of that video from that. But Anibal actually catches a lot of this, but he has a monocular, also another one as well. But what he does is he uses his Nikon P950 or 900, I think, and he points it at the clouds, right? And he just keeps it stationary. And then when he brings the footage back in, I say you can just record for 5-10 minutes or so. He brings the footage back in, and then he uses analyzation techniques, right? Different spectrums of light, like this night vision kind of looks that way, or it's in an orangey color or a different red color. And you can see these things flying through the clouds, just 10, 15, 20 of them at a time. You can see, them flying through, and you have to, use these kind of tools, to do it, to do it with. So that way you can see. Let's see that again, Terry. So that's the new P1000 he's got right there. Right on, brother. Yeah. So, and nice. You have to have these kind of tools, man, in order to see these things, if you're into it and if you want to study it, and if you want to keep on seeing what you're seeing in the sky, being these ufologist groups that we are in, that a lot of folks are in today, but that was probably the most impressive thing that you've ever seen, right? Because you didn't see it with the naked eye. When you put those things on and you're watching these things just zoom by, right? And you're like, what the F, is going on there, And I'm sure I would have been freaked out if I would have seen it myself. It's different when you're watching a video, but it's different when you're actually experiencing what you're seeing in the sky. And then you guys were using those green laser pointers as well, correct?
Yeah. It wasn't scary or anything. They were just going. I tell you, it was exciting. Just because it's like, it's crazy that you can't see it, and then here, use this, and there's just stuff going all over, man. Zoom, 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 2, 3 at a time. Come to a stop. Shoot back the other way.
Right.
You stop using the night vision, and you can't see anything.
Wow.
It's wild, man. It was crazy. It was pretty cool, though.
Well, Terry, you got any question for him?
No, actually, I'm really enjoying what he's got to say here.
Right on.
That's a pretty good story. I like the fact that he's talking about different types of equipment that can be utilized. Some of this stuff is pretty expensive. Some of it's not so expensive. You can always go out and find a secondhand. My suggestion is get a bridge camera. This is the biggest one you can get, but go get yourself a bridge camera, something that shoots video and can zoom out a little ways, and it helps you see the things that you can't normally see without magnification like that. And once you've got that, then man, you got yourself a tool. You got yourself something that not everybody in the world can just look straight up in the sky and see this stuff.
Right.
You can, with these things, you can like speed up the shutter speed, which actually gives you a slow motion effect. And then you can look back on it later. You don't usually see it when you're doing the filming, but you can look back later on this stuff and you see the things that are moving back and forth.
Yeah.
And that's what I guess my point would be is get yourself a good bridge camera. Nikon's not the only one, but Nikon, you know what I'm about to say, right?
Yes, I do.
Nikon. I am Nikon.
Right on.
This is what I do. I love my Nikons, and I use Nikon for everything. I'm about to turn my D3200 into a cinematography camera with the help of Mr. Ledesma here.
That's right. We got plans. We got plans, brother. But it kind of makes you wonder, right? When you're looking up at the sky, you don't see anything. We put these things in different spectrum of light where you can actually see with these monoculars. Or I even talked about this before. I talked about 2 podcasts back. There was this guy that he had this piece of glass, and he moves it this way, that way, and he could see there was a UFO floating there. But when he put the glass away from it, you couldn't see it no more. So he was using some kind of strong UV glass, right? So, and that's what I've noticed, and I've talked about this. A lot of times I can see with my glasses on sometimes because I got some real strong UV crap because, whatever. And welding goggles have that strong UV. So if you want to kind of look at the sky close, to get some more visuals of UFOs, that's the best thing you can do, man, is get some high polarized glasses, that can actually see up there, and you'll be surprised what you'll find. But if you think about it, man, now you saw like 20, 30, whatever flew by, right?
Oh yeah.
Just imagine how much is going in our skies 24 hours a day. How many of these damn things are up there? You know what I mean? We're over here thinking, there's like 10 crafts around the world, 15. Right. I say thousands. Me personally, if you're seeing that many little small ones go by, I get it. Our satellites, Starlink, all that stuff. We know all those things fly in a straight line. We got these beautiful apps now that can, tell us exactly what's out there. But when you see things going and then take off a different direction, come on, man. We already know that is not a star or whatever. It's you can't do it that way. But I just want to thank you. I know we're going a little over, but it's okay. Do you have any other stories other than that one?
I do. And this one, I always thought it was a UFO, but the more I've looked back on it, I almost think that it was a portal. And
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
You know, we're close down here to where a point of the Bermuda Triangle is. You know, it comes through right, to Miami down here. Like I said, I'm still a delivery driver, so I was done with my route, and I have to jump on this interstate to go back to our center, and it's, you go north, and then it bends right, and it's a long drive back. So I get on the interstate, and the sun was down, but it was pouring rain, so, you see the clouds are still you could see the gray because it's still not fully nighttime.
Right.
But I mean, the rain was blowing, it was pouring, and clouds were dark. And, so anyways, I'm driving and I see, and I'm tired, but I see, I would probably say 5, 6, 7 miles straight ahead. I see this bright light, which initially what I thought was like it was an airplane, but I'm like, or a helicopter. I'm like, there's no way. Like there's no airport up there. They wouldn't be there.
Right.
And it definitely wouldn't be a helicopter. So I'm driving. I'm still, and I got to pay attention to the road. You know what I mean? Like I work for a big company, I'll just say the color brown.
Right.
Give you an idea.
Oh, yeah.
So, I go up and then I make the right to go east back to our center. I still got about 6, 7 miles to go. And then I look to the left and I see this bright white light. I see it again, but it's closer. Now it's I would say about 2 miles away.
Wow.
It's bigger, but it's in the clouds. And, the clouds are blowing, it's pouring rain. And, I'm looking left, but I gotta pay attention to what I'm doing and driving. I'm looking around. So I'm like, and I look back and it's gone.
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So now I'm driving. So I see it twice. So now I'm going and I drive about another, I want to say about 2.5, 3 miles. And I look to my left and I see this big, giant white. I see it again for a third time. Only this time it's about 100 yards away. It's a big, giant white, like luminescent, you could see through it. Remember it? So behind it, there's one of those huge radio antennas that go, a couple 100 yards up in the air. And I see it again. I'm like, and I'm driving. I'm like, I know other people have to see this.
Right.
I'm looking. So I see it. And like I said, it's a big white circle. I can see through it because as I'm driving, I can see the pole, the tower. I could see it through it as I'm driving. Right. But I would say it was a giant circle, probably about the size of a school bus. And it just goes, I'm trying to, with this camera, it just goes and just disappears right in front of my eyes. And
wow.
I was like, holy, whoa. And, I'm just looking at other cars. I'm like, I know I can't be the only one that just saw this. That was crazy.
Wow.
And, I was still driving. I called my daughter because she was into it. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. I saw another one.
Wow.
And, I thought it was UFO, but then I looked back. I'm like, man, you know what? That might have been like some kind of portal or something like that. I don't know, you know. So
right. I mean, we've heard stories of the Bermuda Triangle and things that happen out there that people, they go through these things or electrical storm or whatever it is, and when they're on the other side, they know there was land there and they don't see it there anymore, you know, or the land. The airport's not there no more, you know, and they're talking to the airport and say, hey, I don't see the airport down there. There was a story about that, you know, and then they're back again, you know. So why not be a portal? You know?
I think that there is a wormhole. Have you heard of the story of the Cessna pilot that flew from the Bahamas? It's about a 40-minute plane ride on the Cessna. He goes in some clouds and then takes off, flies through the clouds, comes back out, and all of a sudden Miami's there. He made it there in 10 minutes, which would normally be like 35 to 45 minutes normally for him, something like that.
Still had all of his fuel. Still had all of his fuel too.
Yep.
I mean, how does that happen, man? I mean, how? You know,
that's the Rosen Bridge.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the Rosen Bridge.
Wow. Yep. That is crazy. I mean, I know you didn't see nothing come out of it or anything, but something could have. I mean, it's hard to see UFOs at a speed, you know, or anything that's going to pop out of there. You probably might have missed it if you blinked. You know what I mean? You were just able to see whatever opened up and closed at the time.
Yep.
I'm sure that was a strange encounter, man. If you would have had a camera, but I know you're driving, but you know, if just to have a camera or a photo of that or video of that would have been amazing to see, you know, and you got to have those little GoPros as well. You know, those help a lot, you know, dash cams, things like that.
It didn't just shrink and it took about 10 seconds for it to do it. 'Cause it was like slowly and just, you know, it's not like it was a blink of an eye. Like you could see it, you know.
So. Kind of makes you wonder how, you know, that so many people go missing all the time. You know what I mean? And I'm not just in Florida, but all over the world. You know, a lot of times it's in these mountainous areas, or you know, down in the Everglades where you're at. You know, out there by the oceans. You know, a lot of people just disappear and they don't even find the boat. They don't find nothing no more, you know? And it's like, I mean, it just kind of makes you wonder just a little bit, you know, of what's possibly happening to folks, you know, or what's causing this wormhole or Rosen Bridge, or where is it shooting you to? You know what I mean? Or what's on the other side of this, you know?
You said Rosen Bridge?
Yes.
Is that like another term for like a wormhole or something?
Yes.
That's the first name for a wormhole. Dr. Nathaniel Rosen, Dr. Albert Einstein. They're the ones that came up with the thin wall wormhole. The whole thing was a theory, and then they turned that into what we call the black hole, and that was still a theory. And now it's not a theory. We have a black hole. We've actually observed black holes. We've observed several of them now.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, Dr. Einstein was like dead on with almost everything that he theorized. And everything's been proven that he's theorized.
Tesla.
Wow. Yeah, him too.
They were actually friends, by the way.
Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
He stole everything from Tesla.
Oh, I know. I'm aware. Yes, I know that. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, this has been a great podcast, Travis, and you know, thank you for telling all your stories, you know, for folks out there. I know it's hard without photos and things like that, but you know, when you say these stories and it's the same over and over, you know, you don't even flinch at it and or the, you know that you're telling the truth. You saw these things. You're driving, man. I mean, I used to be a truck driver for 15, 16 years. I saw some crazy crap when I'm driving, you know, through back roads and states and stuff like that, you know, and it's hard to take your eyes off the road. That's the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, people always complain about texting and driving. Yeah, don't do it, you know. But it's just one of those things. When you see something, it's by the time you get your phone or by the time you pull over, by the time, you know, this thing was already gone, you know, and then you get the blurry picture, you know, if you caught the tail end of anything, you know.
Yeah.
And that usually happens. But Travis, thank you so much for being on today's show. You know, I really appreciate you. Yes, sir. And thank you for being a real loyal listener to Alien Strand Podcast. And you're going to be a part of ASDP. I'm going to send you a link for that, so that way you can be a part of our group. So you can, awesome. know what goes on the backstage, with all of our ufologists. Yes, sir. With all the ufologists, that we talk about, we break a lot of things down. And you can talk with us, one-on-one, instant messenger. This is how we do it, because, we love what we do and we love helping people. And what you just did today, even though if you don't think about it, it's actually helping people, because a lot of folks have actually witnessed the same things that you have, and they don't get to tell their stories, but you are that one person that got to do it.
If you think about it, you asked me before, like, have you always told people? If a lot of people don't tell their stories because people are going to think that they're nuts and they're crazy. So for every one person, this is my math, I don't know. For every one person that does share a story, there's probably 10 that don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? Same thing with like Bigfoot sightings, and people don't want to be crazy or the job that they have or whatever.
Exactly. And it's
I get it.
Yeah, the stigmas, man. But hey, we know you're not crazy, brother. That's for damn sure, because you're here on Alien Strand Podcast and ASDP. You're gonna be part of our group as well. So, Terry, you got anything to say?
Yes, I do. Disclosure starts with your story and respect. I'm glad to see that somebody came and showed us a good story, and we respect everything you had to say today. And this is the way disclosure works. The only way it can be given, disclosure can be given, is if you come and you tell your story. Thank you very much, Travis. And I also want to make sure that I said hello to you, because I knew you wanted to say hi.
I did, man. I love when you guys chat it up, man. Trust me, I do, man. And I'm just that type of person. When I tell people something, and whether you believe me or not, I don't give an F.
Yeah,
that's just who I am. Take it for what it is. But
man, I think we're all brothers here.
Yeah,
we all think the same.
I've gotten past that point.
Right on.
Long time ago. So,
But Travis, thanks again, brother, for being on the show, and I appreciate you. Just keep on doing what you're doing, man. If you see anything out there, also, you can always share the photos with us, and come back on the show. If there's a story or you forgot anything, I'm sure something will come up later after we get off. You say, "Oh man, I forgot to tell you that story." But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. We can get you on another show, and disclosure, like I said, starts with you and with an open mind, like you talked about earlier, and it's like I tell everybody, we're not here to make you believe. That's up to you to decide, right? Yeah. We just throw you all the information and all the disclosure, and you are part of disclosure, Travis. So thanks again, brother.
Absolutely. We haven't been, just because the mosquitoes are so bad in the Everglades, but the weather's starting to get cooler, so we have another trip planned coming up soon, probably November-ish. So if anything, again, I'll keep you posted.
Right on. Take your camera, brother. Take that camera.
Yeah.
Keep it charged.
For sure.
All right, man. Well, we'll talk to you here shortly. Just stay on. I'll stay on. I'll tell you after we get off, and then we'll talk a little bit. All right. Okay. So thanks again, brother. And everybody says thank you so much for being on the show. They really enjoyed your stories, man.
Awesome, man.
Appreciate you,
Terry. Nice meeting you, man. Thanks for
coming. Nice to meet you too. Yeah.
Likewise.
Glad to meet you too, Travis.
All right, guys. So that was an amazing show. We got Terry on there in the back, on the background. He was able to come in as well. I love when he comes in, gets to talk to you, because hey, man, there's no I in team, so we all have to be together and show all this great disclosure. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this show. You can find us on Twitter, you can find us on X, you can find us on Facebook. Follow us on all these places. Subscribe, man. Follow us. We're everywhere. And remember, everything from this show will be on audio by tomorrow evening. We're on 27 platforms, all over different countries, all over the world. We have over 100,000 downloads of audio. So, everybody's going to be able to hear Travis's stories, and everybody that has been a part of Alien Strand Disclosure Project, man. So it's our pleasure to do everything that we can for all you people out there and everybody out there in video land and in audio land. You guys are supporting Alien Strand Disclosure Project by being there for us, and as well as we are for you. But until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
This episode is brought to you by Let's Productions. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn,